On our agenda today, we're going to do some introductions, learn a little bit about each other and who we are, and then we're going to go into talking a little bit about the survey that we've done that gives us an idea of the topics that folks want to be learning about and have kind of front and center. And then we're going to do a presentation. Ms. Sarah Patton from the MAC, from the Multi-Assistance Center in San Antonio, is going to do a presentation for us. Resource Fair will be on Saturday, October the 14th, 23 at the McKenna Center. It'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning and run until 1 in the afternoon. Miss Sarah Patton.
I'm Sarah Patton, and I'm here representing the Multi-Assistance Center at Morgan's Wonderland. I am here to educate you on what our services are, what our program is about at the MAC as an extension of Morgan's Wonderland. By show of hands, we've been to the park, Morgan's Wonderland Theme Park. Yes. Wonderful. We are one of the 5 entities within Morgan's Inclusion Initiatives. In October of last year, just a quick, our 9th month of operation, we've opened the Multi-Assistance Center, which we'll dive into more. So this is our building. We're located just across Thousand Oaks Drive from the park, where the park's located off of Worsbach. Our mission and our vision with this creating this space was to really reshape the way our community and our folks of all ages are getting connected with care and services. So for us, we do have our navigation program is specifically tailored to that person and understanding what medical or non-medical services are you needing support with and how can we help get you connected. Our mission and vision at the MAC is to improve the quality of life for people living with disabilities or special needs. We do have a number of amazing programs and resources and services available for our community, but it can be really overwhelming trying to figure out where do I get started, who provides what service, what am I eligible for, what does the wait list look like, and understanding that oftentimes our community members are feeling, or our families are feeling really overwhelmed with this entire process. So what the Hartman's vision was to be able to create and connect community programs and community organizations that are providing these services and get connected with our members in a very streamlined fashion. So our navigation service is a program that is developed specifically for our members to get direct one-on-one support and understanding your unique story and your unique situation to get that full picture and then be intentional about what services we're driving to you, what referrals we're making out to the community. At the heart of everything that we do here, what do we see? Navigation with the family. So families that come in are going to get assigned a single point of contact. That navigator is going to be assigned to you or to that member to help get them connected and supported with care. We're looking at those pillars. What do your neighborhood environments look like? What's your access to education or mental health resources? Are you in a food desert where you live? Are there any transportation barriers that you're currently facing? What really is the whole picture of that family or of that individual, and what resources do you need to get connected with? We have a number of community-based organizations. Our second floor at the MAC, we have a medical home. We have CommuniCare now has their largest primary health care clinic in Bexar County at the MAC, specifically providing primary care support for our members. Our therapy services, we offer ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis Therapy on site. We have PT, OT, and speech therapy. So who do we serve, and who are we here to help? So MAC Navigation Services support individuals of all ages with a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities or has a history or a record of such impairment. We have this defined, right, as this is very much in alignment with ADA standard, but a lot of our members and a lot of our community, we are aware, don't have a formal diagnosis, right? Maybe it's a recorded history, or it's something I have shared with my employer or shared with my doctor, whatever it may be. Whatever that might look like, we don't need a clinical diagnosis established in order to be a member. It can be a person of any age, any location within Texas, so we do serve all across the state for our MAC members. You can have any or no insurance to get navigated. Any economic status, we have no income requirements in order to be a member, so no household income requirements on our end. And any residency status. You don't need to technically be a resident in order to get navigation services. Let's use that as an example. So if you have no insurance established, you're meeting with the navigator. I don't have any insurance, but I really need to go to the dentist. I've never been to the dentist before. Then our navigators, we'll get into a little bit around that care plan of what they establish with you. We're going to help you get established insurance to begin so that you can receive that kind of primary care. It's a little bit into our navigation process, which we'll touch into. But if you do have insurance established, right, we're going to get connected with care providers that work with your insurance that are within our network of partners, which we'll talk into here in a moment.
When you're talking about members, do you pay in to be a member of the MAC?
There is no cost for navigation service. We're striving to be holistic in that approach. Based on the non-medical drivers of health, we're looking at the whole picture for the family, not just medical care. Maybe, there might be some therapy services that you or your family member may need, or maybe down the line that you might not need yet. But for us, we landed on that term members just to really, again, create that sense of community for them. So that's what we refer to those folks, MAC members. Again, navigation services, to become a MAC member, there's no cost to that.
Did you have to fill out an application for that?
There's a pre-screening form. It takes about 5 minutes. We have 51 navigators on our staff currently. So the navigator serves as that central point of contact to facilitate communication between our MAC members, their families, and our on and off-site partners, right? So it's a very collaborative effort. I always kind of joke it's your new life partner. They're going to know you in all the ways, right? And really understand what current barriers you might be experiencing, or long-term plans we have. Because once you're a MAC member, once you're enrolled within our team, you're a member for life as long as you continue getting navigated. And that's really the beauty of it. Let's think big picture. We have a 12-year-old. What comes next? What do we need to start planning for, and things like that. The MAC Nav, this is a completely custom software that we have developed for the purposes of our coordination and of the collaboration between our partners. So, of course, HIPAA compliant platform that we use. So our navigation team will send a referral through the MAC Nav program out to our partners. So let's say I'm getting you connected with Any Baby Can. I'm going to send a referral through that platform. The team with Any Baby Can pulls up that MAC member record for Sarah Patton, and they already have preliminary data on my name, age, diagnosis, care, consideration, insurance, all of that's already captured. So now you as the member or the family are saving so much time from that first initial visit with that organization of, here's my story, here's everything you need to know, here's all of that's already been captured already with the navigation team. We say once you complete the pre-screening, by the time you'll hear from an intake navigator, it's about 3 to 4 weeks. For that intake meeting, you're going to get a level of support score. This is an algorithm that is assigned based on the information you give us. But we're getting into those non-medical drivers of health. We're looking at, again, the full picture of what services are you currently receiving, what are you not receiving, and what do you hope to, right? And then we're just going to follow up with you from that navigation team to make sure you're getting those supports in place.
Sarah, you're at a place where for parents and caregivers, even if they just have one area that they need addressed, they can come to you. Or if they're going, I've got a myriad of things, I'm really hurting.
Absolutely.
And I need help across the board, you can do either one.
Yes, and something I would like to preface as well. Let's say you have a primary care provider that you absolutely love, and there's I can't change that for my family member, for myself. That's okay. We're not asking you to change it. In order to be a member, you can be a MAC member and not get a single primary care service from us, from CommuniCare at our clinic, or work with our dentist. The idea is you're working with our navigation team. Yes.
And is this Medicare, Medicaid funded, or is it all private funding?
Funded? Yeah, HHSC is our Health and Human Services Commission is a large funder. The city of San Antonio is behind it as well, but a number of our donors and our development team.
And are you a fairy godmother?
So those levels of support, as I mentioned, we're very big on our themes at Morgan's, as you can imagine. So we, of course, use the colors of the butterfly to denote which level of support is associated for our members. Okay. Questions on this? So our current partners, we have about 30 partners on site at the MAC, but to give you guys a little bit of an overview, our community-based organizations that have a presence on site at our building, we have Any Baby Can, as I mentioned, Epilepsy Foundation, Life Skills for Living. They do anger management programs and financial literacy workshops. You see who else? Reaching Maximum Independence is on there, Community First, of course. On the second floor, we have all of our medical providers. So CommuniCare, as I mentioned, is our primary care provider at the MAC. We do have Center for Healthcare Services, Happy Ohana Smiles for all of our dental care needs, and Sponsor Eye Experts. There they are. Just to name a few. The idea is, in a perfect world, if you did need a lot of providers that were on site, you could staff visits. So now as you, as a parent or a caregiver, an individual is only having to come to one space, and I can get all those appointments done. I can go to my PT, I can get my teeth cleaned, and I can meet with my representative from the food bank. You know, all in one sweep. I'm gonna keep talking. I got more, y'all. Okay. One of our programs at the MAC is called Practice Without Pressure. And this was founded by a woman named Deb Dostoevsky, who's absolutely fabulous. Her and her family were actually from Delaware, and her son was born with Down syndrome. And you know, in raising and upbringing of him, realized, you know, how anxious and sometimes reactive he would get during medical visits, right? Whether it was getting blood work done, getting teeth cleaned, what have you. And the amount of times he needed to be sedated or restrained in order to perceive that was just through the roof, right? She's like, there's gotta be a better way. There's just have to. So at her kitchen table, she established what is now Practice Without Pressure. So what this team does is they work directly with our members to go through practice sessions with our community, with our folks to help educate and empower them on what that process looks like, right? So let's introduce you to the dentist tools, or let's get you sitting in the dentist chair before we even get there. It's that dignity, it's giving that back to that person's spaces. You'll find a lot of these components and features throughout. And this is really just kind of a standard across all of Morgan's enterprises in terms of what the space looks and feels like for our members. Believe it or not, the floors and walls are made of sound absorbing components. It's pretty wild. On that, we do have an orientation that goes over all things Morgan's, what our mission is, inclusive language, what does that look and sound like, how has that evolved, what words are good and not good, all those good things. Helping our members find their way. The building is 165,000 square feet. I still get lost, so it's really great to have them around. We have a great partnership with a grocery store. Y'all may have heard of it, HEB. No kitchen operation or anything like that. It is just kind of more take and bake. We have microwaves and things like that for our folks. A really nice coffee bar set up too, so if families are getting there early or just need an afternoon pick-me-up, no judgment, you can grab a coffee if you need that. Our space is incomplete. We did move in as of July of last year. With this, our ambulatory surgery center is going to be located on the main floor, and that's in a partnership with University Health Systems. So we're going to be able to do outpatient procedures starting at the early 2024 is our timeline right now for that. We're also working with Baptist to provide imaging services as well. We're opening an employment support center. We are calling it, I need to update this, is the Workforce Inclusion Network, or the WIN Center. Conversation is it'll mirror similar to navigation, with employee-specific navigators to help work with our members on finding jobs, interview prep, resume writing, all of those kind of things, just to help them find gainful employment. The process begins. Have I overwhelmed you completely? Mm-hmm. But thank you guys so much for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
From someone from the outside that's done special education since the early 80s, from what I started with in the early 80s to what these folks are doing right now, it is a completely different world. And Mary Helen and I went one time when they were just getting started and learned of that. I swear I sat there and it was just like electric. And you mentioned touring. I would suggest to any of you that are interested in this, if that is moving you at all, go there. Go and line up a time to sit down with somebody and talk, because it's absolutely amazing. Is it for everybody? Probably not. But does it have an enormous amount of things that could fit into a lot of different disabilities and a lot of different need levels? 100%. You just learned an awful lot today about what the MAC's about. If you could impart that onto somebody else that knows very little about that MAC, you may be changing a life or a family's life by getting them the opportunity to get hooked up with a group that could potentially really almost across the board for them get those needs met that they've got. And that in my mind is huge, and I think that's why we're here, and that's the purpose of this meeting, is not just for you as an individual, which is wonderful you're learning, but to take that and let's work as parents and caregivers to make sure that this is getting out to our community. So as much as I'd love to have 500 families sitting in here, some part of what I want to say is I'm relying on you guys to get this out to the other people that you do interact with and let them know what's going on. If you're with at baseball or at bowling or at a dance and you say, hey, I learned something about the MAC Center yesterday, and kind of relate a little bit about what's going on.